Hello friends, so today we are going to discuss about a very important topic in programming languages, OOPs. Now what is OOPs and what is the difference between a procedural and as well as a conceptual language? So we are not going to discuss about the procedural part here, but yes, we will somewhat tell the basic differences between conceptual as well as the procedural languages. Now a procedural language is which basically by the name as it says, it follows a particular process like C and C++. But when we talk about a conceptual language, though it has also some processes inside, but we mainly focus on the concepts. Yes, and there comes the importance of OOPs. Now what is OOPs? So basically it's known as object-oriented programming. Now in the coming videos, in further videos, we are going to discuss in depth about all this, but OOPs basically stands on the 4 pillars. Now what are those pillars? I am just going to give you a basic introduction or a brief introduction about those 4 pillars. So let's begin with. So the first one is, the order may change. Encapsulation. The second one is polymorphism. Go further, we have abstraction, and at last we have inheritance. Now, just a brief about all this is somewhat. Now, when we talk about encapsulation, by the name itself is suggesting we have to, compact. We have to encapsulate some things. So now in OOPs or in object-oriented programming languages, we have a functionality of classes. Now what does a class do? Class is basically it stores or holds different variables or different methods of different types. So what we are saying here, we can store different type of variable as well as methods into a single place, just to make it a little bit more understandable for you guys, in a single place. Okay. There we call it as encapsulation, and then we can use it as per our use in different areas. And just a hint here, as I said, we'll discuss about all these in detail in further videos. To access all these members inside class, we use objects. As if you remember, the full form of this was object-oriented programming. So we use object to access all these members. Now, when we come to polymorphism, now what does this particular word mean? Yes, it means poly means multiple. So suppose in C or C++, we do not have these kind of suppose, right? Especially in C, we do not have polymorphism. Now what does polymorphism means? We can use the similar kind of thing twice or multiple times. Suppose we have a method called any method, word sum. If I can use the same name method again, word sum, and so on with different arguments. Arguments means parameter again. We'll discuss them in detail in further videos, but yeah, this is how the polymorphism works. It has basically 2 major components that we known as method overloading and method overriding. We'll discuss them later. The third one is abstraction. Now this is a little tricky, and this is one of the topic that is widely used into the coding practices and very difficult. Not very difficult, I would say it is very simple, but mostly students and even professionals, they get confused in this. So I'll just give you a brief here about this. What is abstraction? The name itself again is suggesting to hide something. This particular functionality is very important. Why? Because it enables the hiding of the functioning of a particular method or a class. If I don't want to expose the functioning of that particular class or method to the end user, I want the end user to decide how they want to use it. Now suppose, just a quick example of this. If I have a class, say for automobiles, okay, just an example. Inside this I have different methods. Method number 1, suppose I have car. Method number 2, I have bike. Method number 3, I have trucks. Now I am not, and this is my abstract class, just an example only. So I am not giving any body to any of these methods. Now suppose there are users, user A, user B, user C. Now all these users are inheriting this particular automobile class. Now if one user wants to use this car for some different purpose, this car method, suppose for SUV cars, so he or she can decide how he wants to implement this particular function for SUVs. Now suppose user B also wants to access the same method, but not for SUV, for sedans. So what I am giving through abstraction is I am not deciding what this car method will do. It depends on the end user who is using it. So this is what abstraction is. We'll study this in details, and I mean this comes to the next part, that is inheritance. Now how to use an abstract class also, that is also one point here. We actually inherit that particular class to any class. Wherever you want to use the methods that are declared inside abstraction class, we have to inherit. So the name suggests inheritance. We are inheriting the property of some particular class into our class. Suppose we have class A, we have class B, and we have class C. Now whatever objects that are public, and like there are some restrictions though, we cannot access private methods, we all know, outside the class. Suppose there is a public method in class B, and class B is inherited in class C. So that means I can access that public method which is declared and initialized everything inside class B. So inheritance means I am inheriting the properties of a class into a other class. So this is just a kind of brief, guys. In coming videos, stay tuned and don't forget to press subscribe button and a like on the video. Stay tuned. In the next videos, we are going to explain each of these topics in detail. We'll make a video for each and every topic in details for your better understanding. Thank you.